Yo, what's good, YouTube? Back here with another. What? Yo, YouTube, we back here with another reaction. It's gonna be our second reaction on the channel, but we're gonna be reacting to True Horror Story Animated, basically. But like and subscribe, and we're gonna get to the video. The first animation gonna be the Pizza Pup delivery, and the second gonna be dog walking or whatever. But we're gonna get into it though.
My friends and I grew up in New York in a pretty suburban area ever since 5th grade. Our circle of friends was large back in the day, but the 4 core members of our group were myself and my 3 best friends, Johnny, Devin, and Nick. We were 16 years old at the time, and we were having a movie night at Nick's house as his parents had gone up to the Cape for the weekend, so we'd had the house to ourselves. We were at Nick's house as he had to watch over his German Shepherd, Bonzo. When we had arrived, we had helped ourselves to Nick's dad's stock of booze and then played some video games all the way to doing prank calls past 10 p.m. It sounds childish, but hey, you're only a teen once, right? We get about halfway through the movie when there was an unexpected knock at the door. Nick looked confused and had told us that he wasn't expecting any more visitors. As he requested, I get up and go to the door with him. We thought that maybe we had been making too much noise and that it was his neighbors coming to complain, but that wasn't the case.
2 niggas answering the door.
Standing on the porch was a Domino's pizza delivery guy with a large pizza box in his hands. Hi there, large pepperoni pie paid for online. This was very strange, as we hadn't even thought of ordering pizza. But 16-year-olds and pizzas are natural allies, so we gladly take it off his hands. I mean, who wouldn't take a free pizza? We tip the guy to be nice, and he tells us to have a good night, and proceeded to walk away, disappearing into the night. The only thing was that there was no vehicle in sight, so we figured that he must have parked a few houses down. We bring in the pizza to the living room and tell the others how we just got locked out. Devin, being the honest and nice person he was, told us that we shouldn't just eat someone else's pizza. We looked at each other and realized that it was the wrong thing to do, so we leave the pizza on the counter and call up Domino's. Eventually we get through to them and inform them that someone else's pizza had been dropped off at our place and that the delivery guy should take it back to the correct address. They ask for our address and we tell them. The person on the other line asks if we were sure it was a Domino's pizza. Yeah, it's got your logo and everything. At this point, we're all pretty perplexed as no other Domino's stores delivered to our area. We decided to give them a few minutes to call us back, and if they didn't, we just ate it ourselves. We fix up a couple of snacks and resume the movie we were watching.
Boy, that beer?
I get up to get a glass of soda in the kitchen and was shocked to what I found. Bonzo, the dog, had eaten at least half of the box. Fast forward till about a half hour later. We noticed that Bonzo was becoming really distressed, whimpering and crying, and then heads back into the kitchen. 10 minutes later, we noticed that Bonzo was extremely ill, lying on the floor and having trouble breathing, and we immediately knew that something wasn't right. We looked online for a nearby vet in the area, and there was thankfully one nearby that was still open. Needless to say, we rushed him over there quickly, and he was on the point of death when we brought him in. But it wasn't for the reason we expected. The vet said that he was displaying very strange symptoms. They ran a few more tests, and what we found really turned our stomachs. There were several traces of strychnine found in his system. It's a very dangerous poison used for killing rodents, and it causes all of your organs to shut down completely. Nick's parents came home soon after, and we tried to give the best description to police as to what the delivery guy looked like. Unfortunately, nothing ever became of it, and there were no other reports of anyone receiving a poisoned pizza. It makes me wonder if the guy specifically targeted us kids as we were young and naive. If that were the case, he had been watching us for God knows how long, and how would he have known that we were by ourselves? Thankfully, Bonzo survived, but had we arrived to the vet even 15 minutes later, he probably wouldn't have made it. If anyone comes to your door with food that you didn't order, do the right thing and check with the company it's from. It may just save your life.
Man, that's ugly. Bro, that's not even horror. That's not even horror. Okay. But story 2.
This happened to me a couple of years ago. It was late May in the evening. I had just finished cleaning up from dinner and it was a nice evening out. I have 3 big dogs and have to take each of them individually for a walk. My oldest dog is 11 years old and deaf. He is usually the first I walk as he gets tired easily. I grabbed my phone, put my headphones in and headed out the door with my old Boxer. I live in a rural area. The houses are quite far apart and set quite far off the road, so I never had to usually worry about running into too many people on my nightly walks. My area is also very safe. Nothing ever happens here. I was about 10 minutes into my walk listening to scary stories on YouTube. Yes, I listened to horror stories as I walked my dogs in the dark, when I noticed headlights coming up behind me. I didn't pay much attention, just moved closer to the side of the road, pulled my dog over onto the dirt to stay off the road as a car went by. I kept walking and noticed that even though I saw headlights from behind me, they weren't going past me. I'm female, 35 years old, about 5'4", blonde hair that was up in a ponytail. I had a feeling that I should turn around, and when I did, I saw a pickup truck with 2 people inside, pulled off on the side of the road, about 15 feet behind me. I could make out the silhouette of the driver and the passenger, but not their faces. I kept walking, thinking they had just pulled over for some reason that had nothing to do with me. Well, I was wrong. About 30 seconds after I turned around to look at the truck, it started slowly creeping along the road behind me. I was getting a little freaked out, but tried to play it off like I didn't care what they were doing, and kept on my walk. Please keep in mind my dog is very old, and would be of little help to me if these people were to get out of their truck. I started walking a little faster and the truck kept following behind me. About a minute later, I decided to turn around and started heading back to my house, so I had to walk past the truck. As I turned around, they stopped in the road and didn't move. I was going into full panic mode at this point, so I pulled my phone out to call my husband. As I was dialing his number, the truck started honking its horn at me, and the driver rolled down the window and said, "Hey, we're lost, can you help us?" I ignored them and kept walking, praying my husband would answer the phone.
Look at the dog walking.
He was still at work and didn't pick up, so I started walking faster. The truck then did a complete turn in the middle of the road, turned its high beams on me and sat there revving its engine over and over. The sound of this made me start running with my old dog, who has a hard time walking quickly as it is. I'm running with my dog, the truck still sitting revving the engine. Then all of a sudden it takes off towards me. My heart is pounding in my ears and the fear and panic I felt in that moment, indescribable. I can hear the truck flying down the road towards me, and they're now honking their horn over and over again. I was still at least 5 minutes from my house, and between me holding on to my dog and running, I dropped my phone somewhere in the dirt on the side of the road. I kept running as fast as I could with my dog, turned my head to see that they were heading straight at me from the road. I grabbed my dog and jumped down into the ditch to narrowly avoid being hit. The truck kept honking as it drove down the road past me and kept on going. I truly thought I was going to end up kidnapped or dead from them hitting me. I was so terrified I pulled my dog into the woods for at least 15 minutes to make sure the truck didn't come back. I finally made it home, absolutely terrified. Called my husband from my landline. He was almost home, so when I told him what happened, he was very sorry that he didn't pick up when I had called him. I did phone the police when my husband got home. They came out and took a report. I gave them a description of the truck and the man, but they didn't end up finding who they were. Just a word of advice. Don't walk along dark country roads at night with an old dog, and always carry pepper spray or something with you to protect yourself. I never thought something like that would happen to me that close to home.